I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, June the 30th, brought to you in part by Noromycin by Norbrook. Noromycin 300 LA is economical, and bottle for bottle it treats 33% more head compared to the 200 milliliter oxytetracycline injectables in a lower volume dose. For more information, go to norbrook.com. We're at the midsummer break, guys. And if you guys don't realize that you've been working hard and haven't been paying attention, it's holiday time. I'm already in holiday mode, as you can tell, and it's time for the industry to take a break. We don't have hardly any sale barns that's going to be operating for the next week. I said that on the last visit, and then of course I got reminded Green City Livestock Market in Green City, Missouri is going to be having a special. And they've split it up due to the heat. They're going to have 2,500 yearlings on July the 5th, 2,500 calves on July the 7th. They always have a special right around the 4th of July. You can view and bid that sale on dvauction.com. Burwell Livestock Market in Burwell, Nebraska is going to have a special on Friday the 7th. You can view and bid that sale on dvauction.com. I've got the Punchy pick winners to give you here about halfway through this report, but I'm going to give you enough market information to get you through the next week, because there's not going to be anything to talk about. So I'm not going to be having another feeder flash until a week from today, next Friday, and then I'll have a bunch of information about some of these videos that I'm going to be attending here right after the 4th of July. But I'm going to give you a lot of stuff here to keep you tided over until we get there. But your cattle markets were higher again. Feeder cattle especially up big again. Third day in a row. Corn was down again. The rain that they expected in the central and eastern corn belt indeed did come to fruit. We had some good rains come through there. The problem is we had some high winds and some storms that came along with it. Now on Friday here today about noon, they're going to be coming up with the acreage report, and that could throw things for a loop because it's coming out before the board closes, so be careful of that. But indeed we did get some rain come across the Midwest there in your corn belt. I have to check on it. I see the radars, but I have to check on it. I had to talk with my buddy Terry Kalk. Lives in Alma, Nebraska. They got some moisture, but he lost about 2,000 acres of corn blowed over flat. Guys, come across there. I mean, and some of that may pop back up. They may have to come in there and chop that for feed. May not be a total loss, but it's definitely going to make a difference. Check with my buddy Mike McClelland out in western Iowa. I was talking with him on Thursday, and he said we had some high winds come across with ours too. And he lives on the western side of Illinois. He showed me his picture of Adrian, Illinois, where they had some big straight line winds that come in there, blew the corn over, blew a bunch of their storage, just all over the place, and absolutely wiped out a lot of grain storage around that area. And he told me, listening to local news, that those high winds had a stretch that went all the way to Indianapolis, Indiana. Ouch. Once we get that totaled up, that could be worse than the dry weather we've been seeing. But nevertheless, on Thursday, your corn was down a little bit more. Feeder cattle up again big. We have not seen any signs of rebuilding the herd yet. Guys are selling their heifers off that they decided that they were planning on keeping. Different places were getting dry, and most of the guys just saw the market on them and they absolutely could not resist it. We need to cash in on some of these heifers, sell them for feeders, and do some fixing up around the place here. Get healed up a little bit from all the years of not making hardly any money. I was talking to my friend Tony Hancock, who is a Missouri Department of Agriculture supervisor, market reporting there, and he showed me where and they cover a ton of sales there. I was the federal state supervisor there for many years and covered 20 auctions in the state of Missouri. he showed me where those mom and pop, a lot of them auctions, they aren't all big like West Plains and Joplin and some of them, but a regular cattle auction in Missouri that would normally have maybe 125 to 200 cows in a typical week like we've just seen, are selling 500 and 600 head of cows, most all of them going as weigh-ups, guys. And it is starting to get dry there. They didn't have the weather that they got, the little rain that they got didn't hit right. It wasn't timely for the pastures there, so guys are having to sell off. Jack Harrison tells me that people are getting rid of their bred stock here. He's got a big special coming up July the 13th at Callaway Livestock Center, Kingdom City, Missouri. That is right in the center of Missouri, right on I-70, halfway between Kansas City and St. Louis there. But he's a DV auction broadcaster there and a good friend of mine. He's having a special on July the 13th. I want to give you guys time to prepare yourselves for that. It's going to be an evening sale, 6 o'clock p.m. They always have a good special, and they have monthly bred cow and pair specials there at Callaway, but they're just so much bigger than normal for this time of the year. Included in that big sale he's got at Callaway Livestock Center on the 13th of July, he's got 40 fancy black first calf heifer pairs with 250 to 300 pound calves at their side and bred back to horned Hereford bulls. Be a pretty nice kind of a deal there. He's got 95 black and black baldy 4 to 8 year old fall calving cows going to sell on there, a dispersal deal. 70 head of fancy black and black baldy running age cows from 4 to 10 years old, big framey cows with fall, then they'll be fall calvers also. Several other deals, mostly all fall calving cows, and that's what we need, guys. We need more fall calving cows to smooth this supply situation out over the year, because when we have 75% of our calves born the first half of the year, like we do right now, it benefits the packers because they've got the ability to cryovac that stuff, throw it in a freezer, and then dole it out as they see fit. But don't forget about that special at Callaway Livestock Center, July the 13th, Kingdom City, Missouri at 6 o'clock in the evening. And you can get on to dvauction.com, get approved first so you can bid on those cows. Going up here, there are going to be a lot of big videos coming up right after the week of the 4th. They're going to have that big video at Western Livestock Market. And they're having a big one in Reno, Nevada. And that's going to be on the 10th and the 11th. Got a lot of yearlings on the 10th. Be a lot of fancy Western calves on the 11th. You can view and bid that on dvauction.com or go to WVM Cattle. You can get to the same console. Also out in Reno on July 10th and the 11th, they're going to have a U.S. Cattlemen's Association summer meeting. I hate it, I'm going to be missing that because I'm going up to Calgary Stampede during that time. But they are going to have a pretty good sized meeting there. And my buddy Justin Tupper, who is the president of U.S. Cattlemen's Association, is going to be on hand. The regional director there, Jack Payne, a good friend of mine there out of Fallon, Nevada, and they're looking for a good crowd there, and you guys can go. You do not have to be a member. You can join when you come there, or you can just come to the meeting, but they're going to be focusing on the beef checkoff, and they're going to have some directors of that program on hand to answer your questions. Fielded by the crowd there. Also going to be talking about public land use, which is big out there in the western part of the United States. So if you're interested at all, go to Reno early the week after the 4th there, and go to the Western Video Sale and go to the U.S. Cattlemen's Association summer meeting. I've got to tell you all the information I know. Cattlemen's Heritage beef plant, the plant that's been set up to be started there around Omaha there, Council Bluffs, Iowa, I think is where it's going to be closer to. But they have been in the planning stages. We're hoping to get that plant up, like there are several regional plants that are going to be started. They received a $25 million grant here this week. Some of that Biden money, which is going to be going for something useful for a change, but Secretary Vilsack helped that out. He's from that area. I'm sure some guys knew him and helped get the ball rolling on that. But we're excited about that plant coming on. We're excited about the sustainable beef plant coming on in North Platte, Nebraska. We're excited about the American Food Group's plant going on near St. Louis, Missouri. We're excited about the producers plant going to be coming on in Amarillo, Texas. And you say, Ross, we're so tight on numbers right now. How are we going to field those? Most of them aren't going to start up for 2 or 3 years, and by then our producers will have caught up in this big market that we got going on. We're going to start building our supplies back up, and maybe it will keep us from going in such a deep hole when we get into that supply cycle when people start rebuilding there. But coming from our department of promises made, promises kept, I go out on a branch for some reason or another once in a while and project something that I see in a crystal ball that doesn't always come true. But I've looked out this year. Several months ago I told you there'd be $3 5-weight calves. Hell, we got 600-pound $3 calves now. So that was a pretty easy one. I told you I thought the fat cattle market would hit $2 a pound. Here several weeks ago we saw a load of fat prime heifers in Yankton, South Dakota bring 202. So that got me out of there. The last one that I gave you is I thought, and I still think, but I'm not nearly as strong as I was maybe a few weeks ago, that we would see a direct sales of Flint Hill steers coming off that blue stem green grass yearling steers bring $2.50 a pound at an 800-pound base weight. We have not seen that yet. I'm not ruling it out, but I try to give you as much information as I can, mostly out of your auctions and your videos, but I will give you direct information when I get it. I had one of my good contacts, a good friend of mine, tell me that he is starting to see some direct sales out of the Flint Hills start to move. And this week here, just in the last few days, we saw some direct sales out of the Flint Hills for the middle part of July the 15th delivery. That would be in the early part of the Flint Hills double stock delivery there. 12 loads of fancy black 890-pound steers as a base weight bring 236, and another big string of about 8 loads with a base weight of 850 pounds. Direct sales out of the Flint Hills sell for 242. You back that down to 800 pounds, we might get to 250. I hope we do, and then that'd be great for the whole industry. But let's talk about your board on Thursday. June live cattle futures up 12 cents at 179.75. August up 62 cents at 174.50. Not as big a discount as we were looking at here just several sessions ago. 174.50 all the way out to August. I do think they are still going to jack with your direct fed cattle trade during July, because there's not a contract for that. We're going to wait and see that. I don't think they're going to be able to do it until after the holiday week, but you just got to stay hooked, guys, and then stay strong. Though few of you that sell direct fed cattle, but your back months on live cattle on Thursday were up 17 cents to up 80 cents. August feeder cattle up another $2.12. Wow. 242.37 on the close on Thursday. Has been aided by your plunging grain markets here. That could get a shake up here on Friday. As I said, your acreage report comes out, and then they start getting a check on all that damage that was done out there by the storms that did come through and brought some beneficial rain. But my gosh, if you don't think you want to get hooked up to that 242.37 based on an 800-pound steer for late summer delivery, that sounds awfully good. How about September feeder cattle contracts up 207, closing at 245.80. Back months on feeder cattle up 90 cents to up $1.85. December corn, new crop corn down another 8 1/4 cent at 528.5. November new crop beans up 3/4 cent a bushel at 1265 3/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for September down 5 3/4 cent at $8 a bushel smooth. Fat cattle trade, we saw a little bit more dribble of trade on Thursday, but not much, guys. And if they don't trade very many cattle on Friday, we indeed are going to be able to use the 4th of July holiday for a pick to get your backers extremely short bought and then basically name our price late next week after the holiday. But we're going to see how that works out. Iowa just had 700 head of direct fed cattle sales on Thursday, just 4,200 head for the week, which is nothing for them. On Thursday we saw some sales from 180 to 184, dress sales from 286 to 290. Nebraska, just 1,900 sold on Thursday, confirmed. I believe there was quite a few more than that that sold after the 2 o'clock deadline in western Nebraska, because that's where most of them sold. But 5,300 head for the week confirmed, which is nothing. But live sales 182, and like I said, I think that was mostly western Nebraska. And that would be about steady with last week of what they got in western Nebraska. Dress sales in Nebraska at 290, which is also steady with last week. So congratulations to those guys for holding their ground and getting a steady market. Kansas, no confirmed sales on Thursday, and not a drop. Of course, they did puke all those cattle at 178 on Tuesday. We wish they hadn't done that, but nobody's giving up anymore. They've sold 9,500 head for the week. If they don't sell any more than that, that is going to be extremely short. How about Texas? No sales on Thursday in Texas, only 1,600 head confirmed. Any regional sale barn will have that many head of cattle, guys, but 1,600 head for the week, which is nothing. I assume we will see fairly significant sales on Friday. Guys, you got to hold your ground. If not, wait and get ready to ask a bunch more after the 4th. How about box beef cutout values? Choice cuts are up 15 cents at 328.05. Selects up 50 cents on Thursday afternoon at 297.18. Your actual slaughter in for the your slaughter come in through the first 4 days of the week, 502,000. That's just 1,000 less than last week at this time. Exactly the same as the same week a year ago. Actual slaughter information come back for the week ending June the 17th. Had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 882 pounds, which was exactly the same as the previous report. Hope you guys are going to have a big 4th of July. I'm planning on having a good 4th this weekend. My sister, my only sibling here in Canyon, Texas, she's going to be having her annual 4th of July picnic, and I'm in charge of the meat, of course. I got too many people coming to serve them steaks, but we are going to grill up a whole bunch of burgers there. And I called my buddy Donnie Trammell there that has Panhandle Meat Processing in Amarillo. I said, hey, Donnie, I need about 20 pounds of ground beef, and I want it to be out of a steer or heifer, not a 12 or 15-year-old crippled prolapsed cow. And he said, hey, I got you taken care of. I said, hey, I'd like to mix those burgers up with some ground pork unseasoned. Have you got something like that, about 20 pounds? He goes, no problem, come on over. If you guys are in the Texas Panhandle, check out Panhandle Meat Processors there in Amarillo. Going to give you your Punchy pick winners for the month. We talk about it several times through the month. Everybody's real excited about the grand prize, and I'm going to give you the winners. In fact, this month I'm going to give you some honorable mentions. We had some, and they're mostly kid picks that come in, but they're sure worth mentioning here. Bobby Carter there sent a picture of July Carter on his first mutton busting attempt there, and you look at the way that kid is bearing down on that dirty sheep there. I tell you what, I thought that was really a priceless picture there, and I thought it was sure worth an honorable mention. Another honorable mention come from Dustin Connor there. Showed his girls breaking their guard donkey. They just decided that it needed broken, made a pet out of, which may make it not to be quite as much of a guard donkey there, but that girl is bearing down on that rope and going to get that guard donkey broke as a pet. But getting into your winners, third place comes to Michael White, and he is tying down bulls in far west Texas, apparently in the night. And it doesn't look like a small bull either. Pretty good size. That is cowboy stuff right there, guys. Way out in the desert of West Texas there. That's your third place winner. Second place winner comes from Dan Winkind, He is a herdsman and a soldier from Ottawaville, Alabama. They got done working cattle there, and he's enjoying a cigar. Just something about the way that cowboy looks there is pretty punchy. But your grand prize winner of the Punchy Pick of the Month contest is the Kysons from Bison, South Dakota. And the caption for this picture is, "Real cowboys roll up their long johns when they rescue the newborn calves." But congratulations to the Kysons there in Bison, South Dakota. They're getting all the prizes. The whole case of Fair-Peace, which everybody needs to try at least once on those unweaned high-risk calves. And they're going to get some cool swag from Beaver Feed in Beaver, Oklahoma, and Beaver County Stockyards also from Beaver, Oklahoma. So really enjoying the Punchy Pick of the Month contest there, and I hope you guys are too. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV auction, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states, set at 231.76 at the end of trading on Thursday. That was up another $1.02. And you also see there that your CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index broke 230 on Thursday, which it's always a day or two behind your real-time index, and you could not figure out a better way to have a precursor for that figure there, guys, than the RTI. But let's talk about your big sales. And a lot of your sales are winding down here late this week, and then most all of them are going to be closed except for the couple that I told you at the beginning of the report. But on Thursday, how about El Dorado, Kansas there? About 1,200 feeders there, but yearlings were sharply higher than the light test that they had last week. And you look at these half a dozen strings of 850 to 1,000 pound yearling steers there, all very impressive there. And those have got to be some of those cattle that are coming off the Flint Hills a little bit early there. But including in there is 117 head of 903 pound steers that bring 230.50. Wow. How about your National Beef Wire stick out sale of the day? Mitchell Livestock Marketing, Mitchell, South Dakota, 4,100 head there, and they do an awfully good job there. And compared to 2 weeks ago, steady to $4 higher, especially on the bigger cattle there. And Jared Herman's doing a good job since he bought that market there, and continuing to bring big prices there to the central parts of South Dakota. Look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central. Mitchell is a DV auction broadcaster there. You see there that on your bigger cattle, mostly 384 head of 8-weight steers averaged 834 pounds with a weighted average price of $246.51. And you said, what? $246.51 on all their 8 weights? I'm going to tell you why for your top quote for the day at the end of the report, guys. But 338 head of 9-weight steers averaged $956. Weighted average price on those $207.57. Look at some big heifers in Mitchell. 601 head of 8-weight heifers averaged $848. Weighted average price on those 8-weight heifers was $208.41, and 374 head of 9-weight heifers averaged $927 and averaged $193.94. Give you several individual quotes around. How about Clarinda Livestock Auction in Clarinda, Iowa? 65 head of steers weighed 726 and bring $254. Let's go way out west. How about Orland Livestock Commission Yard in Orland, California? DV auction broadcaster there. 103 head, 660 pound likely stocker steers at $284.75. My goodness. How about 3 state stockyards in Falls City, Nebraska? The Witt family there. My good buddy Barry Bowes, that was at the St. Joe Stockyards for 50 years. He's taken his cattle up there to 3 state stockyards. He's commissioning cattle in there. Very, very good friend of mine, and got one of his best customers that came on Thursday, David Ruoff. He brings in 51 steers, weigh 967, and bring 226, weighing that close to 1,000 pounds, guys. How about Bluegrass Stockyard South in Stanford, Kentucky? Another DV auction broadcaster, as is all of your Bluegrass locations there in Kentucky. But look at these multiple loads from 8 and 900 pound steers and they sell from $219.95 up to $230 standing in the ring way out there in Stamford, Kentucky. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday and anywhere ever that I've ever seen, this is an absolute record-breaking top, and I don't see anybody else breaking it for a while. It's your Mackerson No BS top quote for the day. Come out of Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota there. It was some thin steers that come in there. Yes, they might have been thin, but my goodness, guys. There was actually 262 head of them, weighed 841 and bring 269.50. You guys have a great 4th. That's your feeder flash for Friday.